Hello and welcome to another edition of Dog News. This is where I share the news and the headlines of what's been going on in the world of dogs over the world and here in the UK. So let's get on with it. So the first story is a Dachshund named Molly from Cambridgeshire in the UK has given birth to 11 puppies. Now small dogs tend to only give birth to a small amount of pups, so the owner was expecting about 3 or 4 puppies and she just kept going and had 11 puppies altogether, which is incredible, isn't it? I know we used to breed Yorkies, we did it a couple of times just as our family sort of thing, not as a business, and our little Stardust, she gave birth to 1 in the first litter. Well, there were 2 but 1 didn't make it, and the second litter she had 3. So to have 11 puppies from a small breed dog, that's just incredible. So good on you, Molly. Now March means one thing in the UK for dog lovers, and that is Crufts. So Crufts is coming along again, and it starts this week on Thursday the 6th through to the 10th, I think it is, over 4 days, and each day they do different categories of dogs. They do pastoral, they do small breed, etc, etc. Now this year Channel 4, who hosts the show every year on TV, have got a new presenter, and it's the Paralympian Ellie Simmonds. She was a Paralympian swimmer and incredible dog lover and animal lover, and she's going to be the new presenter on there, which would be lovely for her. Lovely to see her presenting all about the dogs as it goes on, and that starts this week. So if you're anywhere in the world watching this, you can pick it up on YouTube as well. Crufts have got their own dedicated channel, so you can find it on there, watch live streams and videos as well, and yeah, hope you enjoy it. It's a great show. I've been there quite a few times. It's well worth watching. Now, being the first day of spring this week, we've now been warned by the Dogs Trust about poisonous items to our dogs during the springtime. So one of them is bulbs. So hyacinths, tulips, daffodils and bluebells are just to name but a few, which you have to be very careful your dog doesn't eat those. Dogs very rarely do that. I mean, some might have a sort of a passion to do it, but I don't normally. All the dogs I've worked with over the years, none of them have actually gone digging up bulbs and eating bulbs, but they're just warning that these are quite toxic to dogs. So if your dog starts to salivate a lot or vomit or feel very dehydrated and lethargic, it's probably worth taking them to the vet and getting them checked out, because if they've eaten a decent quantity of those bulbs, then they could do some damage to their bodies. So just something to be aware of, that the Dog Trust is letting us know. And it's just that time of year, isn't it, when different flowers and bulbs are coming out and it all looks beautiful, but it can also be fairly dangerous to our dogs as well. Now, how many of us have been injured when out with our dogs? Experts are saying that there's been a massive increase in injuries to owners whilst out walking their dogs, which I can kind of get that. I'm out most days with dogs, so I probably have had a few more injuries than normal over the years, but they're saying leash walking is one of the main culprits for our dogs hurting us and us getting broken bones or damage to our hands and our legs. So yeah, experts are warning that leash training is probably the key. If you've got a dog that works well on the lead and responds to you well on the lead, then you're going to get less injuries. If you've got a dog that pulls everywhere and is lunging at other dogs or trying to go where it wants instead of where you want to go, then unfortunately that's where the injuries start to happen. So a couple of injuries from me. I've hurt my hand a few times with leads where they've just been around my fingers and, you know, pulled a finger. I've torn a ligament in my knee when I was training a Labrador, which is a painful one, took a long time to recover from, and yeah, just general falling over or slipping over in wet or icy weather, anything like that. If you've got dogs on a lead that can pull you, Labradors are especially strong on a lead. I can't recommend training enough really, or using the right tools. You can use a figure of 8 Halti or a Halti collar, anything that will sort of cut down on pulling to stop our injuries. And also wrapping leads around our hands, you know, to hold them tighter. That can actually be quite dangerous, because if a dog pulls into the road or pulls you across somewhere, you're going to end up going with the dog because you've got no way of releasing it. So just holding a loose lead is a much safer option than holding them tight. But yeah, apparently our injuries are getting more and more while we're dog walking. Now, something to be aware of, if you're looking for a puppy and you're searching to buy one from somewhere, the worst places you can possibly buy a puppy is from off of Instagram or Facebook or Gumtree or somewhere like that, because most, not all the time, but a lot of the time, these will be coming from puppy farms. So, you know, there's warnings out there now which sort of warn us about not buying off of those sort of sites where someone's advertising their pups on there. If you want to get a puppy and you're really sort of hell-bent on getting a certain breed, then the best thing to do is to research it, find a really good breeder and buy from them, because the health benefits of having a well-bred and well-reared puppy with the mum and dad around, or especially the mum around, is so much better than having pups that are reared in this awful way. A, for their health, and B, for the mother's health, and the way they're treated is just awful. So just be aware, if you're thinking about getting a new dog, don't tend to look on Facebook or Instagram or in the the Gumtree sort of advertising papers, because you may well find that they're coming from puppy farms, which is incredibly sad. And the less we buy from those places, the better it will be in the long run, because they'll stop doing it. But while people are supplying their financial gain, it will never go away. So the best thing I think to do is to rescue, because there's loads of dogs in rescue, and we've just helped a couple of Yorkies find their forever home. Sadly, their owner passed away in his home and left the dogs there as well. They were taken into rescue. We sort of tried to find new owners for them, but they've actually found, through Danaher Rescue in Manningtree, they've found new ownership, so they've got their forever homes, which is so lovely to hear. And there's so many dogs that need rescuing out there, so it's probably a better option to have a think about rescuing rather than getting a puppy, because these dogs all need a chance in life, don't they?
Spread your love. And hear what I'm saying now. Spread your love.
Bumble, you ready for the next bit of news? Yeah. So the next bit of news is there's been a massive spike in rescues from Turkey after the law over there changed, where they brought in what they call the massacre law. And what that law is where they basically want to eradicate stray dogs from the streets, from tourist areas. So they're massacring them. They're basically killing the dogs in massive numbers. So the spike in rescues has gone right up to try and get these dogs away from that country before this happens. So if you are thinking about rescuing, maybe that's an option.
And hear what I'm saying now.
Now here's something that I hoped would have ended a long time ago, but sadly doesn't. There's been a petition which has gained momentum in the UK for Parliament to look into banning dog testing. The petition in UK has to get to over 100,000 signatures before Parliament looks at it and deals with it. But it's reached that, so now they've got to start looking into whether we ban testing of dogs. Now there's been some labs opened in recent years where they're breeding beagles to be tested on, which anyone who works or knows beagles, I mean any dog, but it's just heartbreaking to know what they're going through. So let's hope that the government sees sense and start this banning of dog testing in this country, because it's just awful. Now there's an iconic dog breed which is facing an uncertain future, the Smooth Fox Terrier, which was so popular. Over 100 years ago there were thousands of puppies being bred every year, whereas now they're almost going extinct, sadly. So the Smooth Fox Terrier is probably the most likely to disappear off of our breeding charts at some point, and it's incredibly sad when this happens, isn't it? But dogs tend to go in trends, and the only dog that really remains at the top is the Labrador, which is the favourite dog pretty much year in, year out. But other breeds kind of sort of fluctuate up and down in popularity, and sadly this one is falling off the radar gradually. So let's hope there's a little revival there in breeding.
Spread your love. And hear what I'm saying now.
Now a new study shows that dogs can remember people for not only weeks, months, but years, and maybe even a lifetime as well. And they remember us in slightly different ways. They remember us by our voices, they remember us by our smell, and most important, incredible one, is they remember us by our eyes. So dogs tend to read, the first thing they read is the forehead through to here, so they remember our eyes first of all. So I always say that people's eyes are kind of like the windows to their soul, aren't they? So you can tell when someone's got kind eyes, or they might be a little bit more hard-hearted. And dogs obviously read this as well, because this study shows that they remember people by their eyes, which is incredible. But yeah, how lovely is that? So I mean, I've had it happen before. I've not worked with a dog for maybe 5 or 6 years, and then I'll bump into the owners and the dog over a park somewhere, and the dog takes a couple of seconds to kind of realise who I am, and then they go nuts, which is so lovely. I really love that when that happens. And so yeah, isn't that lovely that dogs have got this memory for people for a lifetime? It's great. The UK has been the first country to start selling dog meat which isn't made from animals. So it's been cultivated in labs, and it's a new product which has been given the go-ahead and actually started sales this week. I know that there was a company on Dragon's Den which launched it, but this company is called Meatly. It's another company, and yeah, interestingly enough, it's supposed to be said to eliminate animals from the pet food industry, so as in cattle and things like that, and also it's said to help emissions as well. So it could be a really positive thing. I presume it's all been tested and tried and everything. Now it's been released commercially. So meat-free dog food for our dogs. Interesting. So that brings us to the end of this week's dog news. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've found something interesting in there. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share it with other people. It'd be lovely to grow the channel. And on Sundays I release a dog walking video where I'm out with the dogs having a lovely time, and shorts throughout the week as well. So there's plenty to keep up with on the channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.